Good afternoon. This is Marcela. How are you? I'm giving you today the opportunity to replace for just a bit Cantor Gaston for Conversations with the Clergy. Thank you for being with us. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Parsha, but also regarding this beautiful and amazing month, which is Elul. So Cantor Gaston is not going to be with you today, but I'm going to take the opportunity to try to bring to you some good teachings regarding Elul, but also regarding the Parsha for this week, which is SHOFTIM, and also the month of Elul, which today we have the first day. And what is the month of Elul? And what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the gates and the police officers and the judges that we're supposed to put according to the Parsha into our cities and into our houses. What does it mean, and what can we do to do that? So again, this is Marcela Gomez-Bogomolni. I'm the Cantor Gaston's wife, and today we're giving you the opportunity of the welcome to Conversations with the Clergy. Okay. So I'm here in my living room, and while I was reading the Parsha and taking in consideration everything that has happened during this year in terms of COVID-19 and the whole family things and everything that we have gone through, I started thinking when I started to read the Parsha regarding the SHOFTIM, judges. So every time we want to hear the Parsha every single year, and we hear the same words, but every time we have the opportunity to interpret it or to make sure it's different for you because you've grown, you're different. This year, you're not the same person that you were last year. So this year, we're going to talk, again, the same words probably, but you're going to understand it differently, and you'll see. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of a breathing, let's put it that way. This is a moment of relaxing. It's before Shabbat, and it's before moments of prayer. So why don't we just do a little bit of breathing and be thankful for the day, for the week, for the opportunities, even when they were difficult, for the family, and the opportunities to have a judge in our life. Open. Judge. What do you mean by that? So let's close our eyes for a minute. And just open your heart, your ears, your eyes, your mouth. For now, you just close it because we're going to learn what judges are in our lives. Okay, so going back to what it is, today is Elul first of Elul, and then we have to remember it's a month in which we're going to start checking who we are, remembering who we are, what we're doing right or wrong, and the whole idea is that you, by remembering, also accept and do some teshuvah, do some going back to who you are and the good things you have. And the whole idea is that we do it day by day. So during this month, we think about that, pray about that, and also we listen to the shofar every morning or every day. And also you take the opportunity to start your cleansing. It has been a year of so many things, a year of some of us lost family, like me. My mom died this year. Some of us probably complain a lot. Probably we were not grateful for being alive, for having everything. A lot of us lost jobs. So what did we do wrong this year? So that's what we're going to think about during this month. We're going to start thinking, probably I should have been less complaining. Probably I could talk less about others. Probably I could be happier even though things are difficult. Those things are the kind of invitation that I want you to have during this month. Okay? So Elul is an important month. You are the most important part of Elul, which is because all of us together is one soul. Like every soul has their own feelings, but each of us has repercussions of what we do, others receive. So if you grow, others will grow. If we're better, your home, your world will be better. So if we all work together and be responsible to be better, that means that you are doing your job to make sure your part is to be better. And that way others will do it too until we get better all together. Same thing with the coronavirus. That's why we're all waiting for us to all get better. Okay, that's now, we have that for Elul. But now, during this week, we have this Parsha, SHOFTIM. So SHOFTIM, every year talks about you will put or place judges in your gates. Let's think about that. That's the first part of the Parsha. If you go to the Parsha today, you'll see that it says that, and every year we'll go through the same thing. Every year we go through the same words. And then, depending on what level of our consciousness, you will always interpret it, the Parsha, depending on how much growth you have inside you. So let's say, if our judges, then you will probably think about these guys that we elected the other day. Or these guys in the Bible or in the Torah, it should say the judges that Moshe picked after he needed some help, so he picked some people. So because that's one level of understanding. Also, they put some judges in the cities. What about this other level? Let's think. What about thinking on the gates that are in your life? What are the gates of your life? Have you think about it? The gates of your life, your gates, are your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears. So, are we going to put judges there? What does that mean? Police officers? So, let's think. What do you think it'll be the gate that has more problematic behavior? Let's think. If I have the gates, now we know which gates I have in me. So what I see, what I talk, what I smell, what I hear, my ears, those are the gates that I need to take care of. So let's think about it. Okay, how do I take care of my eyes? Everybody should know, or little by little with time, you learn what good from bad. And according to your level of consciousness, you will know what good or bad is. So if you're seeing something that can damage your heart by seeing, by smelling, but how come by smelling? Or by talking, your heart can be damaged. So how you know if your heart can be damaged by your gates? Because of your feelings. Depending on what you're seeing, immediately your brain is going to bring to you a message. And that message is your feelings. Feelings of happiness, feelings of anger, feelings of sadness, feelings of being angry, or feelings of envy. If any of these feelings does not make that they don't feel right, that means something is happening through that gate. So what do you do when you're watching somebody? Let's say a guy is married, he's walking with his wife, and he sees somebody, a lady who he likes. Oh wow, she's beautiful. Okay, now that's one gate. He went to the brain, and after he went to the brain, he comes to his heart. Depending on his reaction, if he has this judge well put, he will know that he needs to turn around, stop watching, and continue. And the thoughts needs to be guarded. So these guards are your conscious. How do we develop these guards? Honestly, I developed it by learning Torah, by studying it more, by being closer to these things. So same thing with you. So let's see what happened to this guy who looked at a lady, he liked her, or he thought she was beautiful, but he's married. And okay, she's beautiful, you can continue, but what do you do with that? What is the reaction and the action you do with that gate? And when is this judge or this guardian that you're supposed to have in place so you can let go away from that moment? So that is what this parsha is all about. It's about us having the courage to have a guardian in ourselves, have enough strength to stop ourselves from using our nekabim, you see, our holes. What they say is the gates, nekabim, the holes are in our body. What are the holes? For those that probably practice a little more, when we are in the morning, we wake up and we do these prayers, and these prayers bring to you, one of them is for when you go to the bathroom, they talk about the nekabim, the holes. See, in this case, we're talking about the gates, judges, the holes of the body. But nekabim sounds better. It's in Hebrew. So let's say we have this nekabim, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, see, the ears. So every time there is not a guardian in those gates can take us to a probably, let's say, to sin. Let's call it that way. Not necessarily, but let's say to a transgression. So, okay, now we spoke about something very simple that can happen to anybody, which is a woman or a guy looking at somebody that is beautiful, even though they're married. And that's very human, very, very normal to happen. But what is not normal to happen is what you're going to do with it. Is that your responsibility? So your responsibility from this is this. So when it's taking care of that moment, okay, now let's go to a higher level. Let's say the person is poor or is having issues, financial issues, and is looking at money that is somebody left their money in a place, and they look at those, let's say those bills, and that bill, oh my God, I need the money. Do I take it? Do I not? And then these eyes go, and then the guardian needs to be there. So how you build this guardian? How do you build this police officer, this judge? First of all, by being humble, accepting who you are, and that you are, let's say, envy. It's great. It needs a great courage. So being humble and accepting that you have issues with whatever, let's say pornography. That's one big fat way to see how this nekabim, these gates, can affect your soul. See? So when you get to be aware in what you see, what you smell, what you talk, and what you hear can be problematic or cannot help you to be a better person, then it's your responsibility to be your own guardian. People love to think that another one can and should tell them what to do. But you know what? Not necessarily. You can be your own police officer. You can be develop in the growth within you to become better person. So let's see about, okay, now we talked already about the eyes. And now let's see when we talk about the nose. How come the nose? How the nose can be a gate that can make you go somewhere that you're not necessarily, how am I going to sin through my nose, right? How am I going to sin? So I'm going to explain to you. For those that are coming, for those that are seeing, we're talking today in conversations with the clergy regarding the Parsha and how the Parsha is SHOFTIM, which is judges, and the judges, how you will place judges or police officers, let's call it that way, in the gates of your city, in the gates of your body. So that's what we're talking today all about. My name is Marcela, and I'm replacing Canton Gaston for today. He's doing something very important for our synagogue. So today I'm taking his place. Of course, he's better and he's awesome, and I'm just giving you some words of wisdom if it's possible for you. So because we're in the month of Elul, and it is important for you to realize that Elul versus the gates kind of matches. If you realize that, Elul gives you the opportunity, gives us the opportunity to open our heart and start thinking who we are, how do we act, how do we talk about others, how do we see them. You see, envy goes the evil eye. Remember, we were talking about the gates in our body are the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears. And we just talked about the eyes. So the eyes, if you are envy, or what you see provokes you, something weird in your heart, and what you do about it is what makes a difference. See, what you do about it is what makes a difference. You can just walk away and stop looking at what you're looking. You can continue and develop feelings, and those feelings make you talk, and those talks also make you do. So think how important it is that you have these gates in you, that you have this guardian. So if you want to be better, you must be humble. Humble to see who you really are, and to catch yourself in the moment of when you feel envy, or when you feel angry, or all of these things. You need to step away from you and stop thinking that you are so good that nothing wrong is with you. Nothing wrong is with me. It is. Always there is something. Let's say you want to help somebody, or you want to help whatever, but also there is always something in it for the ego. Your ego has an agenda, and you always need to catch it. What is the agenda of your ego? Okay? All right, so we talked about already the eyes. And now let's talk about the nose. Okay, the nose. If you want, you can, let's see if you guys can do some comments. Let's see if I can see it from here. So if I see the comments, I will answer. Shalom, Joe. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just put it right here. If you do some comments, I will answer them. So, okay. So let's say the nose. Sometimes you're doing the homework, something very important that can save somebody's life, or you're just doing something that you have to do and being responsible. And then the smell of something will remember you about somebody, about something you went through, or about food. Okay, that's in the less level of transgression. And what do you do with that smell? If it's food and you leave what you're doing to go and eat, and that responsibility you leave behind, you already went through a tiny transgression because of the smell, this nekavim, the nose. Oh, but how come? So then, again, in order for you to have a good judge and be able to guard your gates, you must be humble. You must check yourself. Because every time we do a transgression, we have a price to pay. And price is not necessarily money. We have something we pay for what we do wrong, or what we do not do right. So, let's say this person stopped doing what they had to do in order to follow a smell of something, because it reminds it to somebody, because it will follow somebody, or it would just stop and go and eat. But then he had to pay the rent. He forgot about it. What happens if he didn't pay the rent? So then it's two prices. One here in Malhut, which is in the physical world, and another one in your consciousness, in your self-esteem. And that's the second level. Without thinking, having the price of a spiritual level. But we have Malhut, which is down. And the tree of life, according to Kabbalah, we have the tree of life, according in us, and we have the Serampin, which is the Nekabin are here, which is the first part of the tree of life. See, which is Keter, Chochma, Binah, Hesed, Gevorah. But then here it's the first three, the most important ones. So when we have these three, you see, in the face we have most of the Nekavim, the holes that help us to commit a lot of transgressions, and we didn't even realize. So let's think about it again. We are in Elul, and on the other hand, we are in Elul is usually, this parsha is usually the first week of Elul. That means that it's related. How is related? Because these judges, which we hope is you don't have to have a police officer in your life, like a mommy, like a police, like a judge, the ones that we have here, but let's see that you are your own police officer, that you can be grown up enough, spiritually speaking, to maintain yourself kosher, to maintain yourself to the level of taking care of others and yourself with your behavior, with your passion, being able to love others the way you do love yourself. But if you do not love yourself by looking at you don't have to do, eating what you don't have to eat, smelling what you're not supposed to, or even for those that use drugs, a lot of them use drugs through here. So look, that's at level 10 of transgression. Why? Because you are not only looking at the things that will take you to do transgressions, but you also attempting against your body, which is a temple, which is a palace. So by having our palace taken care of, we're doing what we have to do. We're doing the mitzvah of maintaining ourselves healthy. Healthy not only in the physical way. As a matter of fact, health is related to feelings. Feelings are related to senses. Yeah, senses. Because let's think about it again. What you see, hold on, let me see. What you see, okay. What you see make you feel and do things. What you smell make you feel. You remember or have you heard about the smell memory? Okay. Well, my mom used to cook this way. Or my girlfriend, when I was a teenager, she used to smell like this. See? So it's important, it's powerful, even though you don't think so. And then the mouth. If it's one of the biggest and most important, dangerous gates in our body, is the mouth. The mouth is the reason why we do transgressions every single day, no matter what. Sometimes you can guard enough your eyes, you can guard enough your nose, but you sometimes do not guard your mouth. Okay, for those that are getting in, that are new, I just did a sharing a watch party to learn about the parsha this week, and from the Torah. The first week of the Torah. This is the first week of Elul. The Torah is judges, and it's regarding to place judges and police officers in your gates. And what we're talking about is the gates that are in your eye, the gates that are in your nekabin. Which are the gates? Let's say, which are the doors? Who is the city? Who is the land? The land is the body. The malchut, this house. See, it's the physical world. So right now, in the physical world, we have these gates that make you or take you to learn who you really are. Because when you take a time to talk too much about others, why are we humble enough to see who we are? And make sure that you will be humble to find out how much of your day you speak about others, How much of your time talking about others or hearing what others have to say, what kind of feelings bring to you? And it's your responsibility as a consciousness human being, make sure that you will bring to others a conversation of good, a conversation of growth, instead of making others angry or making others envy. This is Conversations with the Clergy, and we're having a conversation with Marcela Gomez-Bogomolni. My husband, Cantor Gaston, who is in charge, who is usually in this space, is not here with us today, but then took the place to replace him for this time. We're going to be in Spanish at 2 p.m., and we're going to talk about the gates as well. So let's go back to the mouth. Now we already talked about the eyes, we talk about the nose. What do we do with this? What do we do with our mouth? How do we use it? Are we using our mouth to bless others? Are we real in what we say? Or usually we just love to manipulate others and make sure they do what we want? And if you manipulate it, what is the idea? What are you looking for? So if you think about it and you are more conscious of what you are thinking, is if you're humble enough, you pay attention to what you see, because what you see makes you cleaner or dirtier. Pornography, you're using your gate of the eyes you have to look at pornography. You're using your eyes, the blessing of having an eye, to see somebody and be envy. Are you using that blessing to see how you are unfaithful to your family? Or do you take care of those eyes and look at things that will make you feel clean? Same thing with the music. Now let's talk about the ears. What we hear when people talking, or the music we hear, also bring messages that make you feel things. Have you ever think about, oh, let's put some music, like I want to feel happier? Or, oh no, let's play some music, let's, and the music start making some feelings on you, make you react. And when you play the same music over and over again, it becomes a program in your mind. It becomes a program in your mind. So I'm going to give you 1 sec just to think about it. And think, what gate do you use better if you use your gates for good? Your gates, again, the eyes, the nose, mouth. Do you use these gates to do good in the world? When we talk about coronavirus, do we use our gates to make sure others are afraid all the time? Do you use your gates so people be angry? If you need to use your gates, like mouth or ear, to make people angry, that means that you're angry. So let's think about it for a minute. I'm gonna see if I can send this. Okay. Okay. So, have you realized that now? Now let's think about it. What are the consequences of you not using these gates accordingly? And what are the consequences of you not being humble so you can have a guardian? When you're humble, you accept and you're not using them correctly. When you're not using them correctly, that means that if you already accept it, there is a guardian in you that is willing to protect you. The moms call that consciousness, conscious. But consciousness is a level of growth. What are we doing with ourselves? Are we doing well? Are we doing correctly? What do we do with the ears? Again, the music you hear, when people talk to you, what do you hear? How long do you give of your time that nobody's going to give you back from hearing? Let's see. Sometimes people only want to hear, only want you to hear them. That's a mitzvah. But if you can redirect the talk and listen to them so they can feel better, but still do not let them go use their own gate to talk bad about somebody else too long. Sometimes we have opinions. Okay, you say, no, I don't like this, or you don't like that. It's not that it's bad all the time. But Lashon Hara, which is one of the worst, we all know, Lashon Hara, which is talking bad about others, or even good. I can't believe it. If we read, I heard, with all of the teachers that I've gone to learning Torah for about 23 years already, 25, learning Torah and all of this, I've learned that Lashon Hara, which is from the gate of the mouth, it's one of the most dangerous transgressions we can even do. And the most important part is that Lashon Hara is almost everything. Even when you're saying the truth, even when you're saying the truth, it's considered Lashon Hara. So mostly we probably will be muted, right? But anyway, so having this in consideration, I want you to have that very clear. Again, I see that some of you probably say, oh, Marcela, but I am, so if I talk, then I'm using my gates wrong. No, we just need to have more consciences and levels of experiencing how do we use our gates. So the parsha this week is also telling us, bring judges to your gates, but also is telling us which are those gates. We always confuse, according to our level of consciousness, what the gates are. If you're only thinking about immigration, immigrants, and those are your gates, and the police officers with their arms, or with the weapons and stuff like that, then we know that we have a little bit of very materialistic way of seeing things. Right now, as you guys all know, I've been fighting and talking a lot about the schools and how the schools have this and this and that. And people will ask, no, let's bring police officers. Oh, no matter what kind of police officers or what kind of guards you bring, if we don't work, or you don't work in your own consciousness and how you're going to develop your own behavior, if you're not going to be responsible for who you are, we're not going to get too far. Okay, so we were talking about the tree of life. It has this part of, we're talking about the nekabim that are here. So now we already talked about the eyes, about the nose, about the mouth, about the ears. What do we do with the ears besides listening to music, listening to somebody talk? If I am going to be honest, I became a better person when I realized I was not one good person. When I realized I didn't like myself. I remember one time, that was 20 or more years ago, that I asked myself if I would marry me. And my answer was no. And if you make those questions to yourself, if you're brave enough, do I like myself? What do I like about me? And if you're honest without lying to who you are, you don't have to say this to anybody. You just have to be you. Do I like the fact that I eat so much that I don't eat? Because in some levels, when you are, and this is probably going to touch some anger around somewhere, people's going to be probably angry, but you think that the mouth, some people see the gate only for you to eat kosher. That's one level. It is for us to eat kosher. But that's just one level, and quite physical. But if you take care of your mouth, and taking care of your mouth is not only what you talk, because when you're feeling, let's do a whole, I don't know how to call it, but let's think about it. I see something, I feel angry about it, I start talking because I'm angry about it, and then I start creating somebody that somebody else will talk about it as well. So now I have 5 or 10 transgressions in one, because I saw my friend that has a boyfriend that he's kind, and I would like a boyfriend like hers. Now because of my eyes, and I'm not doing nothing about it, I'm just letting myself flow with my feelings of envy, and that started by my eye, through my eyes. See? But I'm not being consciousness. I'm not being out of myself and understanding, wow, why am I feeling this way? Wow, I'm feeling envy. And by feeling angry, I'm talking about my friend with this other person. And now I am talking bad, but not only bad, I'm talking things that are not true. So think about it. See? And then that other person talks because I created the conversation, and now I'm hearing. My whole transgression started with me looking at somebody and feeling bad about their life. Think about how tough that is. The importance of having this guardian in you. And be humble and stop yourself. Have the discipline to stop yourself in the middle. Have the discipline to stop it. To see enough about you being, wow, about who you are. Wow. Oh my God, I saw her and I felt envy. And then you just immediately, you know, my teacher, who I love with passion, the one that taught me what I know and how he helped me to become the better person, to like myself. And because yes, I like myself now. Yes, I will marry myself now. Yes, I am better now. I'm still in growth process. I am still a work in progress human being. But yes, I decided, I took classes. And why? Because I didn't like my results. Same thing with you. You think that by looking at that girlfriend or friend with her boyfriend, and you talked, you were envy, you have all evil eye, and all of this together, you think you're gonna pay a price? There is a spiritual price to pay. Don't think, or don't even ask why sometimes we get sick of feeling that way. We get depressed, and that's another way of sickness. We also, because we're so busy taking care of others' lives, we don't take care of our own. So we get sick physically, and sometimes even our financials are affected. So take care of you, pay attention to who you are, be responsible for your gates, because being responsibility, being humble, and having and own who you are will take you far. And then we'll start the month of Elul with the way it's supposed to be, with honor. Have honor in your life. Receive the opportunity to be humble, to stop criticizing, to stop watching. So this is the parsha of Shoftim, Judges. And I invite you to grow during the time in the month of Elul in 2020, one of the biggest and most important years probably of our whole humanity in the modern times. Take the responsibility to be the guardian of your own gates. Do not wait for other ones to be your guardians. Sometimes we make mistakes. It's necessary to make them so we can grow. Be humble to accept what you cannot change. be the guardian of a better person. Being your own guardian will take you far. Will take you far. So this is Marcela Gomez-Bogomolni. I'm replacing Cantor Gaston, and this is Conversations with the Clergy. I'm just going to see if any of you, I have a few of you watching the, and if you have any questions, you can just place it there. So I see you at 2 p.m. for those that speak Spanish. It's almost time to leave, but remember, this is the first week of Elul. You have the opportunity to start going up and up and up so we can get to the high holidays very soon in a more clean and more happier stage in our souls. I know it has been a tough year for all of us. All of us have lost something. But you know what? Sometimes we just have to go through these things to be better. And I'm sure that after this, as a human being, you're going to be better. Thank you very much for those that have been with us. This is Marcela Gomez-Bogomolni. I want you to be with me at 2 p.m. if you speak Spanish. We're going to talk about the same thing but different. And if you want to just finish today with a reflection, let's do it just right now, and then we'll finish. Let's close our eyes for a minute and let's do some breathing. Inhale, and then exhale. What is the definition of being good? What do we define by being good? If by any chance we feel that we're good, how come if I'm good, can I be better? What is the definition of being bad? Sometimes we can say, or people say, that selfishness is bad, arrogant is bad, being false is bad. Okay, but we definitely can check who we are by watching our reactions. So, can you check your reaction right now? What am I feeling when I'm watching Marcela talking? Am I criticizing her? Am I laughing at her? I like what she says. And I'm bringing you this so you can be aware. This is the present. So be aware of who you are. Be humble enough to accept it. And walk every day with the guardian in you. No matter who are the guardians in your life, your mother, your father, the Torah, your consciousness, and your willingness to use it is your real guardian. So let it be a month of growth, of humbleness, and acceptance of who we are, and what can we do better? What can we bring to be better people for the world? What is your part? Are you doing your part? Have you been a good friend? Are you a human being? What can you do better? Okay? I hope you guys are doing great this Shabbat. This was Marcela Gomez-Bogomolni, Encounters with the Clergy, and I hope you enjoyed it, learned something about it, and be a better person for tomorrow, for next day, for your family, for our planet. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. See you at 2 p.m. en español. A las 2 de la tarde te veo en español por aquí, por Bet Torah, and I'll be there for you at 2 p.m. for those that speak Spanish. Bye-bye.